I made a video showcasing a $200 gaming PC, and I thought it was a pretty good way to get an entry-level gaming PC for the cost of only 200 Arizona iced teas. But my viewers revolted. Seemingly everyone who watches my channel are hyper-focused experts on this specific HP Office PC, holding PhDs in old Xeon CPUs, and almost unanimously all kind of agreed that this PC would be actually worth it if we had just spent a little more money. So fine, let's upgrade the $200 gaming PC for just a little bit more money so we can finally say, yes, this is the best way to build a cheap gaming PC. So if you want to watch that original video where I built the $200 PC, I'll link in the top right, and then you can come back and watch this follow-up. But I'll recap it quickly for my Zoomer audience. I wanted to see if I could build a gaming PC that is literally so cheap and so easy, there would be no reason not to build it. It uses an HP Z440 as the base PC, which is simply a very famous office PC that has enough room for dedicated graphics cards and upgrades. The configuration I bought came with an Intel Xeon 1630 V3, which is an okay CPU for the price. I also purchased 16 gigs of RAM running in dual channel, despite being a quad channel machine. On top of that, I had a 512 gig NVMe SSD running on a PCIe adapter. Definitely not a lot of storage space, but hey, we were on an intense budget. And the GPU we were running was a GTX 1070 Ti, which is a great graphics card for the cost that we spent. It even has 8 gigs of VRAM. So we built the PC and did some benchmarks, and honestly, they weren't too bad. We obviously only played in 1080p, but we were able to play a lot of games just fine. Building the PC was really simple too, since most of the work is already done on the pre-built Z440. And the final cost on that machine came out to $201 US before tax. Now here's the thing. At the end of that video, I pretty much said that most people shouldn't build a PC like this, and I've been pretty consistent about that over the years. If you want to build a PC that is this cheap, you need to go into it knowing what to expect. And that simply is that this machine is not going to last you forever, either by hardware expiring due to age, or just new games not working very well at all on your old hardware. And so in my mind, you shouldn't spend any more money than you absolutely have to. You're buying this PC to hold you over until you can afford something newer and better. Putting some extra money into this would be like putting a new engine in your old beater car. If the car was running fine as it is, why wouldn't you just put that money towards a new car? But the audience disagreed. I read through all of the comments and basically can boil all of their collective thoughts into the following statement. If you spend only about 10 to 20% more money, you can get a PC that is meaningfully more powerful and will be less of a sacrifice than this PC for a small amount of money and a small amount of effort. So your wish is my command. We're going to make some cheap but meaningful changes to this PC and then test the results against our original benchmarks and see, is it worth the extra money? So let's start with the CPU. The original CPU was that Intel Xeon 1630 V3, which had 4 cores, 8 threads, and boosted to 3.8 GHz. So a pretty standard entry-level CPU. I thought maybe I could sell the CPU and get some money back, but after shipping fees and eBay's cut, we would only be making like $2, so I'm just gonna hang on to it in case I ever need to troubleshoot the PC. And the CPU I got to replace it is this Intel Xeon 2667 V3. And luckily, these processors are super cheap now, so this thing only ran me $9 on eBay. So let's bump up that tally to $210 for the entire PC. But we are getting quite a substantial upgrade. This CPU has twice the cores and twice the threads, which is really going to help us with multitasking performance. Let's talk about the RAM. We previously had 16 gigs, and that's enough for an entry-level gaming PC. But the problem was that this computer is running a quad channel configuration, meaning we aren't getting the full performance by only running 2 sticks. Now realistically, it's not like we're gonna get a massive upgrade by throwing in 2 more sticks of RAM. But adding a few FPS in certain games, as well as adding more memory overall, will be a nice little upgrade that isn't too expensive. So all we need to do is buy 2 more sticks of RAM on eBay for $10. The reason these are so cheap is because this is technically server RAM, and they can be found by the pallet for basically nothing. So now we have 32 gigs of DDR4 ECC Reg RAM, and it's running at 2133 megatransfers per second, which is the maximum for this CPU. So let's add the RAM to the running tally for this PC. In the original build, I used a 0.5 terabyte SSD, and while we could double that storage for like $30 more, I think it's still enough for this build, so we're just going to leave it as is. And the final piece we can upgrade is the GPU. We are kind of limited in terms of power when it comes to the built-in power supply, and our CPU obviously, so we need to keep those limitations in check. But I already sold the 1070 Ti, and I bought this GTX 1080. It's not a monumental increase in performance, but it only costs a little bit more than the 1070 Ti did, and it will at least provide a noticeable bump in frame rates in most games. I would have loved to go with the 1080 Ti, but it has higher power requirements and costs significantly more, so it was kind of out of the question. But the 1080 will be a meaningful upgrade that we can make to this PC that will hopefully show some good improvements. And that's our final upgrade. So all in, the final cost of the PC is now $235, which doesn't sound like that much more than the original $200 price tag, but that is nearly a 20% increase. And for someone who can barely afford the baseline $200 model, this might be a big ask. But is the extra money worth it? Well, let's test the performance and find out. So we obviously did see some good performance increase over the original $200 build in a lot of games, but is it worth the extra $35? Well, I think that really comes down to your preference. If you're the type of person who is only going to play League of Legends on this machine and do schoolwork, well then I don't think it's worth the money or even your time. But if you're serious about PC gaming or expect to spend more than 6 months to a year to be able to afford your next PC and you want something that will hold you over but not feel like you're making massive compromises, well, then these upgrades might be worth it, and the internet was right to bully me. I'll drop links to all of these products in the video description if you want to pick them up yourself. But if you'd rather build a custom gaming PC for $300 that will last you much longer than this thing, then you can click the video on the screen now. Thanks to the channel members for supporting the channel, and get subscribed for more technology content. I'm trying to hit 100,000 subscribers as it is my ultimate dream in life, so anyone who can subscribe to help with that, I'll really appreciate it. My name is Jason. Thanks for watching.